But there's something inherently suspect about prosecutors that start with the proposition that they're going to find a way to target somebody. And that's what we're seeing across the board. Thankfully, maybe some of this stuff collapses of its own weight, either on appeal in New York or in front of Judge Cannon in Florida. But we have to wait and see a little bit.
Well, no apologies, because this is important information that, legacy media, they're not talking about this. They're talking about Donald Trump trumping the threat. They're talking about him. What would he do if he's ever elected? Well, he would probably put the light on all of this that we're talking about right here. And it's important to know what you mentioned with Walt Nauta. Not only in that case, too, they also pierced the attorney-client privilege, which is somewhat unheard of. And that was because of a judge. And she ended up, it was like her last ruling before she stepped down. We know all this. I mean, and you're on the inside of it. So let's just widen out a little. We're showing Donald Trump today. He's having some big meetings. We'll be giving this speech, in about 15 minutes. We'll take it live. He has an opportunity to speak to Americans. He's looking, obviously, towards a return to the White House. Jim, what do you think he needs to say today to clearly articulate the weaponization, but also appeal to some of the independent voters out there who maybe get a dose of MSDNC, who think it's outlandish, some of the things he's saying, but full well it is happening and it is a concern for every American if they can do this to a former president?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm a law guy, not a politics guy, but I would just say that the message that he seems to be putting out there very recently and very consistently is all about the economy and about policies that are going to make people more comfortable in terms of the American dream, trying to buy a house when you're young, which seems out of reach. I think it comes down to things like, pocketbook politics, that people look at their groceries, their gas, their heating bills, and they realize they did pretty well a few years back under President Trump compared to what they're facing now. But on the law and order part, again, the lane I care about, it doesn't have to be just him, making these comments. But I hope that he'll get out there and just basically say, look at the evidence. This is not just politics. This is something where there's hardcore evidence showing differential treatment. Alvin Bragg tried to say this was a core type of case. It's absurd. They had never done a case like that in New York. So
no,
again,
never.
Focus on actual moments in time and evidence. It helps you figure out the motivations of these politicized prosecutors.
Well, maybe that's why they want the gag order on him still in regards to Juan Merchan. Someone, Steve Bannon was speaking out. Now they want to send him to prison. They put Peter Navarro behind bars, contempt of Congress, the same thing that now Merrick Garland has not complied with in a way because there's no privilege for these audio tapes. I just want to get your take on Nathan Wade still doing the rounds, maybe still wants a reality show. Not sure what his end game is here. Maybe it's a book deal or something. He says he thinks if Trump is reelected, he's still going to face charges down in Georgia in that RICO case. Let's play this outlandish interaction.
On trial if he's in the White House?
I do believe that he can.
Okay.
I don't believe that it looks good to the rest of the world. But certainly I don't think that there's anything that would prevent that from happening.
What if he's convicted?
I don't understand the question. If he's convicted, then just like any other defendant who's convicted, then you go through the sentencing process.
Jim, who are these people and what is going on in our legal system today? Fulton County is a very interesting case.
Yeah, I went to Emory, so this kills me. I've spent some time in Atlanta, and I watched this circus that's been accompanying this case from day one. Remember everything about it. I mean, the grand jury foreperson going out on a media tour and talking about her Wiccan beliefs, and a clerk's office that leaked the indictment and then lied about it, and then this tawdry affair, and really not even just the affair, but the complete disrespect for the court and for honesty that was displayed by Fani Willis during that motions here.
Jim,
it's astounding. I'm hoping the Court of Appeals jumps in and says, look, you can't half bake a solution to a conflict. Both parties need to be out, not just pick one, which is what the judge decided. If that happens, stay tuned. I think there's a real chance under Georgia law that the entire office becomes recused, and that effectively kills that case. I can't imagine DA in County saying, let me jump in and do this mess.
We are staying tuned.